Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to our Wednesday webinar session today, where we're going to be learning about a very exciting new launch that we've had recently called the Hum Beyond collection, where we've basically handpicked some incredible, very unique and special properties outside of our regular destinations around the world that we just thought were too good to pass up, even though they didn't fit into our kind of portfolio before. So today we're going to be learning about the amazing Kisawa Sanctuary in Mozambique, the Miavana by Time and Tide in Madagascar, and then the Qasr Al Sarab in the United Arab Emirates. So we're joined today by Sylvia, who's going to be taking us through Kisawa Sanctuary, Bronwyn and Nick from Miavana, and Namik from Qasr Al Sarab. Thanks so much for joining us today. If anyone has any questions throughout, then please do feel free to ask. We can do a Q&A session at the end of each hotel's presentation. But then if you think of something from a previous presentation towards the end, then please don't hesitate to ask, and then we can do another Q&A session at the end. So today we're going to go through from Kisawa first, and then we'll go to Miavana, and then we'll end on the amazing Qasr Al Sarab. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over now to Sylvia to take it away with beautiful Kisawa.
Thank you very much for having us. And now let's see if technical things work. Let me try to share my screen. Okay, here we go. I hope you can see it properly. Okay,
yes,
let's get this party started. So first of all, I think it's important to underline how to get to Kisawa, because from time to time people think it's very complicated. It's actually super easy. The best way to get to Vilanculo basically is from Johannesburg. You have flights from all over the world, and then from Joburg there is a daily Airlink flight which is 1 hour and 30 minutes. And during the safari season between July and January, there is also 3 times a week a direct flight from Mpumalanga, so from Kruger National Park directly into Vilanculo. And then from Vilanculo, we do organize the helicopter transfer, which is about 7 minutes. It's a shared service, so it's shared between the other properties on the island, which are Beyond and Azura, but we can totally privatize the transfer if it's more adapted to the guest needs. And I think before getting into the property, it's important to underline where we are. Benguera Island is this one. It's part of the Bazaruto Archipelago, and Bazaruto Archipelago has been a national park since 1971. So everything from obviously the ocean, but also the dunes and the land, the animals, everything is really strongly, there is a strong focus on conservation. And that's why you're not allowed to bring your pets if you come to visit us, but it's also one of the things that makes this part of the world so special. So this is us. We have all of the southern tip of Benguera Island. It's 300 hectares of land for only 8 residences in total. And we divide, we call it, for us it's normal, but let me specify. This is what we call the ocean side. So this is completely into the ocean, and this is what we call the cove side. So cove side is where actually we have our residences. It's a tiny bit tidal, but you will always see the water, so it's actually really nice because it's what gives you all these shades of blue when you arrive by helicopter. And getting into the residences, as I mentioned before, we have 8 residences in total. We go from 1 bedroom to 3 bedroom residences. And all of this is to say that each residence has a plot of land of at least 1 acre. So at Kisawa, it's all about privacy. If you have clients that are looking for Mykonos vibes, it's not the place at all. You don't come here to meet new friends for aperitif in the afternoon. It's more like to reconnect with yourself, with your loved ones. If you bring your friends, obviously it's perfect. But you will see each residence is really very isolated, and that's what makes it very special. So this would be our smaller residence. It's basically what we call the 1 bedroom residence, where you have basically the bungalow. The main bungalow is here. It's 150 square meters, and then you have the day area with your private pool and the access to the beach. So inside, it looks a little bit like this. Promise I don't go into detail for every residence, but just to show you how they look inside. Basically, a very large living room, huge bedroom, and an enormous bathroom with double sinks, double toilets, etc. And within the day area, you have your own private pool, and then obviously a lounge area, a dining area, and an additional bathroom. So inside, the picture doesn't really makes it justice. They are really very, not only large, but also very high in the ceilings. And there are a lot of very nice details, local artisans involved in creating the doors, the roof, etc. But to me, the most important part is that they have these huge bay windows. So even when they are closed, you have the feeling that the nature comes inside. The first time I went to Kisawa, I was blown away by this nature, which is beautiful, rough. It's not manicured gardens. It's really what makes the beauty of Kisawa, actually. So growing, we have one bedroom with annex. Actually, only one of these. Basically, you have the full bungalow here, plus the annex where we have twin beds. This one is ideal for families traveling, for example, with nanny and two kids, etc. As you can see, it's not directly connected. So if you have smaller children, we suggest to add extra bed in the living room instead. And obviously, the annex has its own private bathroom. And this going up again, this is the two-bedroom residence. So basically, as you can see, the two-bedroom is really twice the size of a one-bedroom, sharing the day area. So this is one single unit. We're never going to sell these two separately, basically. And you have twice 150 square meters. So it's ideal, for example, if you have two couple of friends traveling together, they want to stay together, so they share the day area, but at the same time, each of the couple have this special space for them. There's not like one having the master bedroom and another one looking at the wall at the back. So in terms of space, it's really interesting. And again, the space is repeat, so you can see it here. Kisawa residence is another two-bedroom residence. In terms of size, internal size, it's the same as a normal two-bedroom, but it has, I would say, in terms of price point, it's a bit higher because it has the largest space outside. It has more African art inside, and also it's the one closer to the main restaurant and the main terrace restaurant, sorry, and the spa area. So you don't need to use the mokes to go around. And then the three-bedroom residence is our bigger one. So you have three bungalows, each of 150 square meters for a total of 450, one full day area and the smaller one over here. And obviously the access to the beach is very private. And then I mentioned the mokes before. Each residence comes with its own electric mini moke. You can decide if you want to drive it yourself or if you want your butler to drive it. I would always suggest to drive it yourself, but maybe in the evening, if you want to have an additional glass of wine at the restaurant, then the butler can drive it for you. And again, underlying the reason why we have the mokes, obviously it's fun, but at the same time, it's because of the distances. Consider that to go from the residence that is the most far away from, let's say, the spa, it takes about 15 minutes if you drive the moke, 20 minutes if you walk along the beach. So I think it's important to underline the distances so the guests really understand that not everything is so close by. And then obviously the team, we have butler and service team for each residence. Something that I would like to underline, we have a strong commitment to employ team members that are either from Benguera Island or Vilanculo. It's an agreement that's been with our owners and the community of Benguera Island. So obviously it's not only a holiday in a beautiful destination, but it's really an immersion on the culture of the place. You get to interact with the team. They can tell you more and more about what happens in the island, the culture, the fishing, etc., etc. In terms of food and beverage, we are in all-inclusive, but we give you different options on how to use your all-inclusive. So for 8 residences, not only you can eat in your own residence, but we have 3 different restaurants. And basically, we start with main terrace, which is probably our more fine dining. This is just the corner of main terrace. It's the bar area, but it's much larger. So in case of buyouts, for example, if there is a day of bad weather, we can also do a big table here on inside main terrace. And obviously, it's called main terrace because it has a fantastic terrace overlooking the ocean. And it's also where the wine cellar sits, so particularly important from this perspective. Then we have my absolute favorite, Baraka restaurant. This is our more Mozambican African one. It's next to a dune by the beach. So it's the perfect location if you want to enjoy the sunset over Vilanculo and then stay for dinner. And each of the restaurants really has its specific menu, its specific music, etc. So they all have their own personality. And then Cove Musasa, the last one, is our more, I would say, Mediterranean restaurant. It's very, like, as you can see, barefoot luxury. You can really enjoy for lunch or dinner. So at every single moment, we have at least 2 restaurants that are open. And so guests can decide. Normally, before their arrival, we do a sort of dine around itinerary where they get to experience all of the places. But obviously, their time is ours. So we don't have strict timing for lunches, dinners, breakfasts. It's totally up to the guests. And outsiders, of course, we can do a lot of destination dining on the beach, by the dunes, etc., etc. But one that the guests particularly enjoy is the pizza tuk-tuk, which is, I call it the restaurant that comes to you. Basically, the team will bring the tuk-tuk to your own residence, to a special setup, and then basically you can also help making your own pizza. So it's especially fun for families with children, but we use this, for example, for when we had groups. We brought the pizza tuk-tuk to the helipad and did a very big table on the helipad, which is quite nice. And then we have a fantastic wellness center. We won quite a few awards for the wellness center, not only because of the shape, but also in terms of the treatments that they offer. It's an holistic approach to wellness. So we go from Ayurvedic treatments to sound healing, but also yoga. We have an Iyashi dome. So it's really something that can be customized to each guest needs. And we have one treatment that is included for every stay, and then obviously we can add more if the guests want to. And just adding to the wellness center, we have a special package for 1 week where basically you can do a total wellness immersion, and the team at the wellness center will customize all the treatments according to your needs. And the same will do the food and beverage team. So you can have the meals and the treatments according to what you want to do for yourself. Small gym on site, even though I repeat all the time, we have 5 kilometers of beaches with basically nobody, so you can do a lot of activities outside. And yoga, I already mentioned, this is our main pool. So on top of having a pool for each residence, we also have what we call the lagoon pool, which is 25 meters. So in the morning, you can totally do your laps in the pool if you don't want to do them in the ocean. And then in terms of activities, obviously we are within a national park, so we do not, for example, actively offer deep sea fishing. Obviously, if there are guests that want to do deep sea fishing, we can connect them with the company in Vilanculo, but we tend to push more the activities that would connect you with the place we're in. So Kuveja, for example, which is the traditional way of fishing, and many other type of activities that will bring you to meet the people of the island. Obviously, the marine life is outstanding. We have dolphins, turtles, dugongs, manta rays, and much more than this. And from mid-July to mid-October, it's the whale season. Even sometimes they arrive as early as June. So we are waiting for the whales as soon as possible. And obviously, for this reason, July and August are between the busiest period of the month, because we have a lot of guests that come not only to enjoy the property, but also to see the whales. Obviously, we do organize snorkeling excursion. We also have a small house reef next to the Baraka restaurant, so you don't even need to get on the boat. You can totally do the activities next to the beach. And then diving is outstanding. This is not obviously because of Kisawa, it's just because the area we're in, the national park, the fact that the currents are a bit different, the reef is completely unspoiled. So for divers, it's a paradise. It's not bleached at all. You still see all the colors that you want to see in a reef, as well as all the marine life. And connecting to the diving, basically, I think it's important to underline that we have our own scientific center that was actually opened before the opening of Kisawa. So this is a standalone organization. They do their own studies, etc. But basically, by staying at Kisawa, you are funding the scientific center. And what they do, it's a permanent ocean observatory that basically collect data and share data with universities around the world. I think it's important to underline that obviously you can be by your beach reading a book and you're already contributing to BCSS. But on a second level, basically all the activities we do in the ocean, everything that is around the diving, for example, has been organized through the science that comes to us from the scientific center. So, for example, they did the 3D mapping of all the 13 sites we take guests for diving. They instruct our team to how to approach the marine life, not to disturb the whales, etc., etc. So that's also important. And on a third level, you can obviously do also activities with the scientific center. It's not something that is done to please the guests. So when you go out with them, it's really fully hands-on. You can dive like a scientist, you can work like a scientist, but basically if they tell you it's 3 hours and then it lasts 5 because the work isn't finished, that's the way it goes. But every single guest that has experienced BCSS come with a better understanding on why the ocean is so important, why we need to protect the surrounding area of where we are in. And last but not least, obviously children are very, very welcome. We don't have a kids club as such, but we do have a lot of ways to keep children entertained. It's like a huge playground for children as well. And there you go. That's it from my side. I hope I didn't go too long.
That's perfect. Thanks so much, Sylvia.
You're very welcome.
It's so wonderful to hear about some of the other stuff as well. That's not just about the Kisawa resort center and facilities, but everything else that people can do to experience beautiful Mozambique. So thank you so much. We don't have any questions just yet, but sometimes people think of them towards the end.
So anyway, thank you.
Whenever people think of something, please do feel free to write. Perfect. So now we're going to move on to Miavana. So I'll hand over to Bronwyn and Nick if you guys want to share your screen with your presentation. And we can hear about the amazing Miavana in Madagascar, where actually our sales director, Thomas, just recently went to visit, and we've got an amazing video from his trip, and he absolutely loved it. So great to hear more about that.
Well, thanks so much. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, in the meantime, while you're sharing your screen, we just had a question for Kisawa, if that's all right. Sylvia, we've got someone who's asking, when would you recommend is the best time to go to Kisawa and when to avoid weather-wise?
So listen, all the property, not only us, all the properties on Benguera Island are open all year round. So you can pretty much visit all year round. The 2 months that are a little bit unpredictable because they can be fantastic. And this year they were actually really nice. But last year, for example, we had the cyclone are February, March. So those 2 months tend to be a bit unpredictable and obviously are also the hottest month throughout the year. July and August are winter months, but it's a very mild winter. So it works really well for visit. And being obviously there are holidays in all the Northern Hemisphere. So it's one of the busiest time of the year.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Wonderful. Okay, thanks so much, Bronwyn. Let's move over to the amazing Miavana property now. We can see your screen.
Cool. Thanks very much. I was just about to ask if you can see
Yeah,
see my screen.
perfect. Thank you.
But yeah, thanks and thanks for the time for allowing us to share a little bit of our piece of paradise that we have. Sylvia, thank you so much. It was also really nice hearing about Kisawa. So you guys got in for a treat today, hearing a lot of amazing properties. I think for us, and I just want to hopefully give two key messages about Miavana. And one is that it's Madagascar and Miavana is not just a beach destination. And I know we've got limited time, but I really want to show you everything that Madagascar can offer your guests within a week holiday. And the second thing is access. I know that Miavana or Madagascar tends to have this perception that it's really hard to access. And access into the country is getting easier and easier. I think everyone's seen that with Emirates starting to fly as of September last year, and they've sort of upped that to 6 times a week now. But sometimes I think getting to some of the most remote places on Earth does take 1 or 2 flights, and hopefully that doesn't scare guests off. But just focusing on this picture for a quick second, and just to show maybe that really kind of elaborate distance that where Miavana is or where Nosy and Cow is, where Miavana is. So this is mainland Madagascar over here. And this is where Miavana is located. So we're in our own archipelago of 5 little islands. And where Miavana is on a little island called Nosy and Cow. There's nothing else on the island except for us and all of our foundation efforts as well. So that is why, and a lot of people will ask us, how can you access Miavana? It is only accessible via helicopter because of the distance. And for me, some of my most sort of favorite times I've gone to Miavana is actually that journey in. I mean, the amazing landscape, what you're seeing from the air on either that transfer of an hour or 30 minutes, which is really dependent on how your guests arrive in Madagascar. You are really flying over some of the most unique sightings ever. So we do kind of take that journey in before you kind of see this from the heli. When you're coming into land, we really do make that helicopter journey to the island quite spectacular for guests. Our helicopter pilots as well, we love to kind of know about what your guests are interested, even down to the music that they enjoy. And we've got really cool playlists. So it's quite a really cool entrance onto the island. And just to quickly show you a map, so the capital is Antananarivo, which is where majority of international flights do go into. For us, the better airports, and for your guests, essentially, is Diego Suarez and Nosy Be. Both of those are accessible to private jets. And then international flights into Nosy Be at the moment is only SA Airlink and Ethiopian, or the charter company Neos Air from Italy. So that will get your guests directly into Nosy Be along with the private charters or private jet transfer. Alternatively, if guests are landing into Antananarivo, then we can arrange private charters up to either Nosy Be or to Diego Suarez. And then we own and operate the helis. So we would help guests straight onto the helis and then across to the island. So that's where the difference comes in terms of the transfer time. Diego Suarez is 30 minutes across, and then from Nosy Be, an hour onto Miavana. And I think the key thing is Miavana, Madagascar, it really, really is an adventure playground. A fully inclusive rate, so all of your activities are included. And we'd really encourage guests to take advantage of what's on offer. Again, understanding what your guests' interests are, hobbies, what they're hoping to accomplish in their holiday is we try and get as much information up front. Our GM will also meet them on arrival and curate a holiday and experience depending on what they're hoping for. But we have everything available. You know, we've got fishing, we've got a beautiful activity center with a PADI certification dive center. The diving, we're known for war diving, for drop-off diving. I think what's really unique and what our guests who do dive come away with is, the coral, the reefs are healthy, and for them, some of these dive sites have never been explored or only been explored by very few people. So it's also that feeling of traveling somewhere and seeing something that not many people have seen, which is really exciting. Lots of boating activities, kite surfing, supping, snorkeling. So there's something, we've got a lot of guests that want to come and do maybe trail running. We've got beautiful trails guests can do. We give you a bicycle on arrival. You've also got your own golf buggy, so you can explore the island as much as you want. It's very safe to do. But I think any kind of water sport that you can imagine is available to guests. We also have wildlife, a massive wildlife aspect on the island. This is the golden crowned lemur. We have 22 on island. It is part of our Time and Tide Foundation efforts where when we started, so our owner, Terry, was one of the 5 owners of North Island a number of years ago. And when that was sold, Terry took a lot of the learnings from North Island and built Miavana. And we have a huge effort. Terry's very passionate about our conservation efforts. And one of the big projects that we did was we translocated lemurs from the mainland, and specifically the crowned lemur, which was endangered, onto Miavana. So guests can go lemur trekking as many times as they want. We have the amazing opportunity for guests to see turtles and turtles nesting in the summer months. We have the world's biggest and smallest chameleon. So there's a big attraction of wildlife. I mean, Madagascar is one of the most biodiverse countries in the world. And some of the things that you're able to experience and see here is really quite breathtaking. I mentioned in the beginning, we're in a little archipelago of 5 islands. You can actually see them on this map. So what we actually do is we're able to take guests, so not only for diving and snorkeling to, sort of come some of the nearby islands, but we're able to take guests to Nosy Man and Pal. And in the winter months, we have a colony of terns that come and nest on Nosy Man and Pal. It's something quite spectacular. So, great for birding or bird lovers to come and see this sort of absolutely amazing opportunity to just kind of see all these like thousands and thousands of nesting terns on Nosy Man and Pal. So lots to kind of see and do, not only where we're located, but then also on mainland Madagascar. And so some of the things that you find you would only find or see in Madagascar, and that's things like the Zighy and Karana National Park. And so what we do is we take our helis and we actually have curated some really good day excursions. So guests can choose either before they arrive or when they're on island if they want to. Like this is just an amazing, we fly guests to the top of the escarpment, we'll set up a lunch or a dinner or whatever it is for them. And they're sort of at the tipmost point of Madagascar, just kind of overlooking the most incredible sightings. The Zighy, the baobabs, everyone that comes to Madagascar really would like to see a baobab. So we can't go down with our helis as far south as the sort of famous avenue of baobabs, but we've got a cluster about 20 minutes from Miavana, so we can actually land and take guests trekking and get them to see just the most amazing sights. Also different species of lemur, so we can take them to Black Lemur Camp, like I mentioned, the Zighy. So there's a lot of off-island adventures that guests are able to still do. So I think the big question that I get given, and I just want to show this quick video, just sort of showing the magnitude of these amazing sights that guests can see. But I think the biggest thing is guests will say to us, or agents will say to us, my clients coming all the way to Madagascar, but they're not going to see these kind of key highlights. And we are able to offer that with our off-island heli excursions. And then just moving back to the island itself, everything is fresh, ocean to table, lots of healthy options for guests. We bring a lot of the Malagasy cuisine into everyday menu options for guests if they would like to try something sort of more Malagasy. But we also, understand that people are there for, sometimes up to a whole week. So we've also got, besides your fine dining and sort of wine cellar options, we also have more relaxed dining, sort of pizza ovens where you can put your feet in the sand and have whatever you want. So as I kind of mentioned in the beginning, everything is fully inclusive. And that is from the food and beverage all the way through to the activities. And I think what we've done really well is we've created little areas. We use all parts of the island for dining, different little bar areas. And then that also goes all the way through to in-villa dining options. So if guests want to dine in villa, absolutely no problem at all. So every villa does come with its own private plunge pool, but we also have a main area pool as well, which is near all of the restaurants. And then, like I mentioned, just kind of really creating something quite spectacular. So understanding who your guest is and what they're wanting, and then to put together something which we know they'll love, hopefully getting as much information from you guys as possible, to really create something quite special for them. Moving to the villas, we have 14 villas across the island. In the middle, we have the piazza, so all of our sort of main restaurants and activities center, and then the villas dotted on each side. So the villas are completely private butler service. They're beautiful and spacious, all direct beach access. Every villa comes with a dining area, a lounge, a kitchen, and then your one-bedroom villa. So the basis of all of the villas is the one-bedroom villa, which is your main bedroom and bathroom, all the facilities I've just mentioned, and then it also comes with a study or a child's bedroom. And then our 2 and 3 bedroom villas would just add on, sorry, I think I'm blocking this. But we add on a second bedroom and bathroom, and same with the 3-bedroom villa. So it's your main basis of the 1 bedroom with a second and then 3rd bedroom and bathroom added on. So your 3-bedroom villa would sleep 6 adults and 2 children comfortably. And then just kind of going back to activities on island, we have a really cool Cabinet de Curiosity, which is our little natural history museum. So when we were building the island, which did take 6 years, to build, we found really cool artifacts dotted around the coastline, and we've put all of this together in our little natural history museum, and our team will take guests through the story and a little bit more on the culture of the Malagasy people and the history of Madagascar. We've got an elephant bird egg, a full one. There's only 23 left in the world. As far as I know, it's still on the number of 23. So we've got one in our Natural History Museum. And then, like I mentioned in the beginning, a lot of our foundation efforts, we've got a beautiful school. A lot of our guests do want to learn about the work that we're doing on Madagascar in terms of our community, our lemur translocation, and then we also work with our local fishermen with sustainable fishing. So guests are able to get involved in any community projects if they'd like. And then just to end with, we've got so many cool little areas. This is our kite deck near Andragona Bay that we've built that guests can go and enjoy. They can obviously walk around the island. We've just built a brand new restaurant here. I sadly don't have any pictures. It's called our Crab Shack. So it's a little bit more of an informal beach bar that we'll be launching more information on as soon as we get images. quad bikes. We take guests up to our lighthouse. We do sundowners or coffee in the morning up in our lighthouse. Obviously, the yoga wellness side is very, very popular. We have either a spa that we can use or in-villa treatments. So anything that you can kind of think of, we can make happen for your guests. Children as well. So like Kisawa mentioned, we're the same. We don't have a kids club per se. I think we've got so many cool activities on island, cooking, sandcastle building, treasure hunts. We are on an island after all. So we do really cool activities with kids. So perfect for families. And then just to end off, and obviously we'd love to send this to you guys, but our special offers. So on 5 nights or more, we include the heli transfers free of charge for guests. We've got a stay 7, pay 6, which then also includes the heli transfers. Our jet set, which combines our properties in Zambia with Miavana as well. So basically a night free in each. And then our honeymoon. So on 5 nights or more, the partner will receive one partner full price and then one partner 50% off. And then we also have our private jet package from Johannesburg. So just I'd love to send that to you guys who all are aware of our special offers. And that very quickly is Miavana. I'd love to tell you more. So if anyone needs anything, please reach out to myself or Nick, our sales director in the UK, and we'd be happy to help. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Bronwyn. We do have one question.
Sure.
It is, how many nights do you recommend? And is it possible to reach Madagascar from Zambia directly, in particular to package both of the Time and Tide properties?
So yes, first question, I personally wouldn't go for less than 5 nights. There is so much to do, and I think just the travel time there, by the time you get there, you're unwinding for a day, and then, you have so many activities to choose from. Majority of our guests are coming for 7 nights, but I would say the minimum would be 5 because then you can also take advantage of the free transfers. And then, yes, we combine the best way to combine Zambia and Madagascar is Lusaka through to Nosy Bay on Ethiopian via Addis. That is the best connection. Otherwise, we do often organize private charters, but that will depend on number of people and which jet. And then you can take advantage of our jet set package.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's the only question we've got for now.
Cool.
Amazing. So now we're going to move on to Qasr Al Sarab with Namik, who's going to take us through this amazing desert property. And we can do some more questions at the end for anyone who thinks of anything that in the 2 previous presentations, we can address those at the end. Thanks so much, Namik. Handing over to you now.
Perfect. Good afternoon. Good afternoon from Abu Dhabi. Could I just reconfirm if everyone can see the screen, if it's loaded properly?
Yes, yeah, full screen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm taking you all the way from the beach all over to the other side of the world to the desert. Qasr Al Sarab Desert Resort by Anantara is based in Abu Dhabi in the UAE. We're 2.5 hours away from Abu Dhabi city, so it's a little bit of a drive. A lot of the guests tend to rent cars and drive over, or if they prefer, we do have transport. We can arrange limos. We don't offer helicopter transfers ourselves, but we do have 2 helipads. So if the guest feels like they just want to take a quick 25, 30-minute helicopter transfer to the hotel, that can be arranged as well. Qasr Al Sarab is in the empty quarter, which is the world's largest sand desert. I'll go into it a little bit later as well, but this desert is very special for even the type of sand that we have. And throughout the little presentation, you'll see that one thing that I love most about the property is that we're very authentic to the Bedouin styling. Here are a few pictures that you can see. Even when I go into the rooms, you'll see that we're very authentic. So that's one big reason why we get a lot of the guests that come all this way out into the desert, right? So to begin, we have 207 rooms. That's including villas, so quite a lot. The it goes rooms, suites, and then villas. We have three different room categories. The leading category is the deluxe balcony room, and then the deluxe garden room second. These two both come available with twin beds or king beds, so it's easy. If you want that flexibility, we can arrange it. And then the next would be the deluxe terrace room, pretty similar to the deluxe balcony room, except that it's a lot bigger. One thing you'll notice with this property is that even with the rooms, the leading category rooms, you don't really feel like you're missing out on anything because we're still very authentic with all of these. You can see even the walls, the high ceilings, it's all very traditional Emirati. Next, we have the Anantara suite. This is perfect for guests who don't need a pool in the villa, a private pool. I'll show it to you later on as well, but we do have two pools at the property. Two like public pools. One is the family pool, and the other one is the adults only infinity pool. But for guests who don't need that, we can arrange the Anantara suite, and this can accommodate an extra bed as well, so works perfectly for families. The two-bedroom family suite is very similar, the difference being that it's technically a connecting room. So if you want a Anantara suite plus a deluxe garden room with twin beds for a family that want a little bit of space, this room category would be perfect. For villas, my favorite by far, this is my favorite category. This is the one-bedroom Anantara pool villa. With all of the villas, you do get butlers, but don't worry if your guest is staying in the suite or the rooms, we still have concierge service available to take care of all of their requirements. But for the villa, you do get butlers. In the two-bedroom, it's still quite similar. However, we have that extension with the twin beds in the second room. For the three-bedroom family pool villa, it is two king beds and then one twin bed, as you can see here. This unit specifically, I think, has the best view in the whole property. It's an uninterrupted desert view. Other than these three main categories, we also have 10 units of the Royal Pavilion villas. It's a little bit separate from the main hotel. If you can see my cursor, I'm just taking you down this road. That goes down to the main hotel. The Royal Pavilion villas are 10 units of the one-bedroom villa, except that they're all adults only. And as you can see here, all of them have the uninterrupted desert view. So when you stay in this, you really, really get to feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, which is nice. It's also very popular with events because it's 10 units and it's of the hotel. A lot of the time we get this entire area booked for weddings, corporate events, things like that. So it's nice that you can have a buyout without taking all 207 rooms. This is just an example again of the Royal Pavilion Villa, same as the one-bedroom villa. Other than those villas, we also have two iconic villas. The first is the Al Sarab Villa. It's very big. It's a two-bedroom villa, but it's 853 square meters. It's a lot of the guests say that it's your way to experience how a sheikh would live, because you can see here the pool is extremely large. The interior is furnished by Hermes, and this was initially built to represent how the sheikhs in that area live. Other than that, we also have the Sahara Villa, which is our four-bedroom villa. We only have one unit of this, and this is more back towards the Bedouin styling that the other rooms have. In terms of dining, we have quite a lot of options. A lot of the guests nowadays stay for 3 to 4 nights, so we have enough outlets to spread out during those days. The first one is the poolside restaurant, Gadir. This is international cuisine. It's the simplest. You don't need any reservations. It's just walk in, family friendly. We also have Nasim, the pool bar, which my favorite part of this is that it has a swim up bar, so it's a lot of fun. And then we also have now the Infinity Pool Bar, which is adults only, which is this one here. Next, we have Suhail. This used to be my favorite restaurant. On the next slide, I'll show you a new restaurant that we opened up. So before that, this was my favorite. It also used to be the restaurant where you get the best sunset view until the new one opened. But Suhail is our steakhouse. Al Falaj is our Bedouin style dining restaurant. This is the most fun experience. I hesitate to even call it a restaurant because it is truly an experience. You dine out in the desert. The chef roasts the food out there with you. Sometimes the camels will come by to say hi, the falcons, and it's a whole evening experience. And this is one of the dining experiences that I really recommend when guests stay with us. But because, of course, that it's out in the desert, it is closed during summer. Right now, it is 41 degrees Celsius. It will soon be about 50, but it's dry heat. It's not humid, so you don't feel it as much. But still, because of the weather, we close it during summer. Al Waha is our breakfast buffet restaurant. And then we have the In-Villa Barbecue, we have Al Liwan, which is the lobby lounge. And of course, with all Anantara properties, we have dining by design where we have special areas in the resort where we can prepare for proposals, private dinners, things like that. This little picture that I want to talk about is Camp Nujum. This is an overnight experience in the desert, so you don't even stay in your room, and it can accommodate up to 8 people. And you do stargazing because this is like you have to take our Land Cruiser to go out into the desert. So there is no like sky pollution, nothing. And so you get beautiful starlights. The chef will come prepare the food for you out there. And it's a lot of fun. I've done it once and I can't wait to do it again. And this is the new restaurant I was telling you about, Amani. This is our Mediterranean restaurant. It's adults only, and it is now definitely my favorite. You can see here on the bottom picture where there is a view of the sunset by the infinity pool, and the octopus salad here is to die for. That's the one dish I keep going back for every time I dine there. In terms of activities, being in the desert, of course, you're not too close to the city, so we do have a lot here for the guests to do. The standout for me is Esba. Esba is our educational farmhouse and cultural center. This is, of course, where all the animals live. We have the camels, the horses, the gazelles, the Saluki dogs, the falcons. I can keep listing all the animals here. But one thing that we're very, very careful about is the animal protection, right? Because some of these animals can be endangered. A lot of them, like the falcon, is the most important animal in Emirati culture. And so the team here makes sure that they're taken care of, they're protected. We're actually in a nature conservation area. So we work with the Abu Dhabi Environmental Agency to make sure that breeding is going well, all the animals are healthy. We grow a lot of the dates. We make sure that the community around the hotel as well is taken care of. I can give you an example. Last year, we had so many dates that we grew that we had to have a meeting what to do with them. So of course, every department gets their share of it, and then we go donate it to the other areas because a lot of the animal care facilities around the area can use them as well. We do tours of this, which is the most favorite activity for kids because they get to go and meet the animals. So for guests, I always recommend an ESPA tour. Other than that, we have the horse riding, we have dune bashing. Now, earlier in the presentation, I mentioned how the desert here is different even compared to Dubai or Abu Dhabi City. And that's because the sand here is extremely fine. So if you do dune bashing here, it's a completely different experience. Sometimes I joke that we have tsunami-sized dunes, and that's because it is that massive. So I've done dune bashing before, and I've done it here, and it's a lot more fun here. Other than that, we have the movie nights. This is just a small example of the activities we have. We have archery, Polaris, camel riding. We've just started a new activity, so you all will be the first to hear about it, but it is clay shooting. I got to test it a few days ago, and I guarantee it's going to become one of the top activities here at the resort. For leisure and fitness, so before I jump into leisure and fitness, this picture is the perfect showcase of the infinity pool. And we have Amani in here. And then this is Al Waha, the breakfast restaurant I was telling you about. And these are just some pictures of the adults only infinity pool. It is the perfect place for the sunset views. And this dune here, it's about a 20-minute hike. And during summer, you don't find too many guests doing it. Surprisingly, you still do have some, but not a lot. But over winter and during spring, almost every evening, all the guests are climbing up to get a shot of this. We do have a kids club at the property. We have a wide variety of kids activities, and we even have babysitting available. If the parents want to go by the infinity pool or Amani for a meal, our team can look after the kids. We also do have paddle and tennis for fitness. Both are complimentary and can be arranged with the team. We will provide, of course, the rackets and the balls. We recently did a full renovation of the gym, so everything is new. It's open 24 hours a day. And for spa and wellness, we do have an award-winning spa here at Qasr Al Sarab. We have 5 treatment rooms, but the standout feature is the hammam. We have a Moroccan and Turkish hammam, which the guests absolutely love, especially during winter when it's 8 degrees and 5 degrees. Heading into the sauna, having the hammam experience, and then going into the jacuzzi is perfect. And then that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Namik. Looks so cool being out in the desert and being able to have such amazing views out to all the sand dunes and everything. We've got a question, which is, how long does it take to get from the nearest airport to the property?
Sure. So from Abu Dhabi airport, it takes about 2.5 hours.
Are there any options other than driving? Would guests be able to take like a helicopter or anything like that?
Definitely. We don't arrange helicopter transfers ourselves, but if the guests would like to know a company that we recommend, we do have a few. It's about a 25 to 30-minute helicopter ride, and we do have the helipads here.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's about it. We don't have any other questions at the moment for any of the other properties, but if anyone thinks of anything afterwards, please do feel free to reach out to me and I can check with the team. As always, we'll have the recording from today's session on our YouTube channel, so please do refer back to that if you need or share it around with any colleagues. And yeah, big thank you to everyone for joining us today. Sylvia, Namik, Bronwyn, and Nick, thank you so much for coming in and telling us all about your amazing properties. We're very excited about this new collection. And we're going to have another webinar soon with some of the other properties from the collection, but definitely hit the ground running with 3 very incredible properties to launch our Hum Beyond collection. So
Thank you for having us.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Have a
guys.
good rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.